G'day fellas, and welcome to a casted game of Age of Empires 4. Today, we have two Conqueror 3 players facing off on dry Arabia with two of the newest civilizations. It's time to get down and dirty. Let's introduce our players for today. In the south of the map, in the color purple, playing as the Macedonian Dynasty, we've got Busan Lily. And in the north of the map, in the color blue, playing as the Golden Horde, we've got Give You Anxiety. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to a casted game. A pleasure to have your company here on dry Arabia as we begin to take a look at how this meta is slowly unfolding, how it's slowly forming, and the decisions that these players may make. Now, keep in mind, both of these players are exceptionally good. Conqueror 3 level players. Oh, GUA deciding, you know what? Maybe we want to position our golden tent in a little bit of a different position. And indeed, he does. Doesn't look like we've got any sign of early aggression at this stage. He's gone for the Uvu. Everything is normal, except for the fact he can't move his buildings. Because this is a Mongol variant, but there are some differences, and that is a key component, which I kind of like. And if you like that as well, make sure you leave a like down on the video below. It really helps. I actually noticed today, I was watching a video on YouTube, and when I put it into full screen, I got this little, it's not a prompt, but it's like, I guess there were buttons in the bottom right-hand corner where I could like or dislike the video. So, you know, go ahead, do a little like down there, do a dislike if you dislike the video. Probably don't. Otherwise, you probably wouldn't be watching this video. But anyway, look, we're going to try and make it as enjoyable for you, so you will like it. Anyway, let's get into it. So, another thing to note is we've got the UI flipped at the top. You'll see, unfortunately, oh, I just realized let's get this bad boy right here. Oh, hold on. This button. There we go. So our UI is flipped at the top, and that is because we can't unflip it. Otherwise, the names would be backwards, and, well, unfortunately, that's a bug that I am not willing to live with for this game, however long it may be. It could be a 15-minute game, and it just ends up being the case where it was okay, you could have lived with it. But if this game goes for an hour, I don't know if I could just read Busan Lily backwards a whole bunch of times. It just wouldn't work. Anyway, let's get into it and talk a little bit about how these players are beginning to open, and it looks like we've got ourselves a hippodrome, something a little bit different. You know, we've seen a lot of grand wineries out of players recently. We've seen Dark Age aggression, which I've been a big fan of, but Busan Lily says no. We're not going to do that. Instead, we're going to play it slow. We're going to slow play this one. Hippodrome coming out. It's funny how it's a slow play when it's the Hippodrome, yet you have access to building cavalry here. The Hippodrome's got quite a couple of differences from the standard Byzantine Hippodrome. Most notably, you get access to champion units. So the way that it works is quite simple. The champion unit is better than all the other units of its type. You get champion horseman, champion Radari, and you also get access to a champion scout. And, well, they all provide different little bonuses to units in the nearby vicinity. And hold on a minute. GUA always looking to change the meta, and we see him today with building cards. Let's talk a little bit about this. So normally with the Golden Horde, what we see, it's quite a simple opening, and I love it a lot. Often you'll see players utilize the Golden Tent as a pseudo-stable. I shouldn't even say pseudo-stable. They utilize it as a stable. It has access to building cavalry, the Torgud. And one of the ways that you can leverage the power of the Golden Tent is by aging up with Khan and Torguds, which reduces the cost of that. But GUA not going to go down that route. Instead, going to be going into two building carts, which can be unpacked into military buildings. So maybe he's thinking about going into double archery range or something like that as an option in the early game. So we'll have to keep an eye out for exactly what the play is here. Now, another thing to note is the further along we get into this expansion pack, the less I'm going to be explaining through the core mechanics of these civilizations. At this point, I'm going to assume most of you guys are starting to get familiar with these civilizations. So obviously, we've talked about the fact that the Golden Horde can't move their buildings, but we haven't really talked about the fact that they age up kind of like the Abbasids do with regard to their Golden Tent. So it's, we'll slowly leave more and more of these details out of the videos, try and get a little bit more in-depth with our analysis as well. Down towards the south side, we do see a new champion is in tournament at the moment. And of course, we know the answer. It's going to be a champion scout. Or Hippodrome Scout, excuse me. So you can see that they've got actually quite a bit of damage. I think it's 7 damage compared to the base Scout, which is meaningful, but still not so much that you really have to respect it. What is going on out here? We've got ourselves a little bit of deer down towards the back of the base. So we'll be keeping an eye out for aggression and whether or not there is the potential of units coming down to push these deer, or these villagers off the deer. So, Hippodrome Scout now going to start moving out. 7 damage, there we go. It also provides a nice little aura to units nearby. Gives it an increase of torch damage. I think it's 35%. Yeah, 35%. So, not a bad amount. Let's check in on the other side, though. I want to see what GUA's up to, because he has indeed opened up with 2 interesting military buildings. He's gone with the barracks and the stable, which, as I said, I kind of find funny, because it's like, if you're going to go for the stable anyway, you might as well just go for tall goods, because tall goods are really strong, basically like a Keshik. Obviously, they're different units. They don't have all the exact same things, but they're very similar in that they're heavy cavalry units. So to me, it just kind of makes sense that you really play into tall goods as hard as you can, but GUA is going to mix things up here. We do see him opening up with the racks as well, so the hardened spearmen going to be coming out, anticipating that it may be cavalry from his opponent, undoubtedly scouting out exactly the landmark that he opened with, and knowing that, hey, it's probably a good idea that I prepare just in case any cavalry is coming through. One of the other key differences with the Golden Horde compared to the OG Mongols is the fact that you can make palisade walls. Now, of course, you can't make stone walls. That'd be kind of broken. Not really, but it probably just wouldn't be on theme. But anyway, you can build palisade walls, which is very nice in the early game, and I love the fact that GUA is going for this early wall here. This is the perfect spot to be walling along the back of his base. Meanwhile, towards the front, Busalini, I gotta be careful there. I don't want to sound, I don't want to pretend like I'm talking about a fascist dictator right there. It's very close to one. But he is adding in the second Varangian stronghold right now. So he's going to be looking to reinforce this position with quite a few units, and we also see he could potentially move into defensive arrow slits here. So this is the second stronghold he's putting down here on the front. I absolutely love this building. It's a little bit more expensive, but I tell you what, it is worth its weight in wood, because it is, well, that's how much you paid for it. And anyway, Keshik's now coming out. One of the great things about this building is you have so much ability. I don't know if that's the right way, but you have the ability to tech switch so easily. Now, we can see that there's a little bit of a struggle coming early on here with villagers being forced away from the gold vein. Hippodrome Horseman now going to come out as well. 220 health on this bad boy, 13 damage, but Keshiks as well as the early spear doing quite a bit of work. So Busan Lily definitely on the defensive early on in this game. 7 minutes in and forced off resources. He's lost 1 villager so far. Rather, he's actually got 1 worker kill. I don't even know what happened. It must have been back behind the scenes here. Was it potentially this villager? I wasn't paying attention exactly where it was. So perhaps that's the case. Keshik's now going to start to heal up a little bit. Horseman may go down. We can see a new hero is now in, or a new champion is now in tournament. So this technically should be the Hippodrome Radari. So I think it gives you 3 of them for free. So one of each for free. And then from there, if you want another one, you just have to construct it or build it or train it. Is probably the best way to say it. So GUA with early pressure now coming along to his opponent. Upgrades starting to come through. Double broadaxe together with survival techniques. So looking to focus a little bit more on the economy. Batu Khan now going to be coming out. Now keep in mind, Batu Khan is quite affordable. So I really do think it's worth just letting him die. We can see more tour goods, or not more tour goods, but the first of the tour goods are going to be coming out as well. And a Varangian arsenal now going to be placed down as well by Busan Lily. Now, keep in mind, GUA is streaming over on Twitch, probably live right now, so make sure you go check him out. I'll leave a link in the description. Oh, you know what? We didn't mention something in the previous video, but I'm going to make sure to mention it in this video. Just give me a sec, actually. We'll wait until this little fight's finished, because they are tussling hard early on in this game. But of course, you know exactly what I'm going to say, ladies and gentlemen. I'm talking about Outback Octagon 4. It is returning November 19, so grab your tickets. Well, you don't need tickets. It's all right. We'll be live over on Twitch. So anyway, you know where to find us. We'll be back with all your favorite players playing all the new civilizations. Boy, oh boy, I'm excited. Anyway, we got upgrades starting to come through for Busan Lily here on the south side. You can see he's leveling up that scale barding, so starting off with some cavalry armor. Now, what's interesting here is he doesn't have a whole lot of cavalry on the field. Technically, he's making a horseman, which is good, but it seems curious that he goes for this. GUA still really putting on the hurt here. Has he added in a stable? You know what? Technically, he's got a stable back here. He doesn't have the archery range just yet, which is curious, because this man normally loves to go into that 1-1-1, and we finally see the upgrade. The defensive arrow slits comes through, and that basically just saves this position right here. I don't think GUA can contest this at all. There's way too much health on these buildings, and 6 damage might not seem like, 10 damage. God, that's a lot of damage. That is a huge amount of damage. If you're talking about a unit that's got 4 ranged armor, they're still taking 6 damage. That is, that will absolutely whittle you down. You don't want to contest that. So, very nice decision-making here from Busan Lily. And I wouldn't be surprised if we actually start to see Macedonian players look to try and rush that upgrade. It's a little bit expensive to buy up front, but once you've got it, boy oh boy, it feels really good to have. All right, well, let's check in with GUA, because he is really taking this whole Golden Horde thing to heart. and he is walling out of his mind. Now, these are pretty big walls that we're seeing. Normally, you wouldn't see walls like this, and I don't encourage walls like this. I much prefer closer, defensive, smaller walls. Normally, walls like a wall back here would be absolutely, in my mind, chef's kiss. This one here, the trouble that you've got with it is it's so far away from everything that if your opponent starts sieging down over here, they're just going to break through by the time your units get over there, and then they're in your base killing your dudes. And that's not what we like. We don't like that. We want to try and keep everything nice and close together. So that's something to keep an eye out the longer this game goes on, as Bus and Lily undoubtedly will look to get more cavalry out in the field. And speaking of cavalry, we now start to see on the other side of the map, there it is, the Hippodromedari. 294 health on this bad boy, 31 damage in the feudal age as well, but look, it's coming in at around the 10-minute time, so it's really not that bad. It's also got the option to throw his axes if he so chooses, but for the moment he will be looking to find any potential villagers he can. GOA, does he spot this out? The Batu Khan sees it indeed and turns around. Now the Vils is going to become the target. Does he look to get that charge through? Does he not have a charge? Maybe the Hippodromedari doesn't have a charge. I would have thought he would have been charging at that distance. Hold on, I can actually check. Yeah, he doesn't have a charge. Look, he's only got 31 sword. So the Radari, basically the Cataphract. How did I not make that connection earlier? The fact that you don't have that charge. Well, we'll talk about that later because we got other things to talk about. Right now, towards the front of the base, the Golden Horn Tower is going down. And of course, the Golden Horn Tower, like the Byzantines, like the Macedonians, has gone through some changes. It is not the same as the OG. It is quite different. Think of it like a Chinese keep that gives you crossbows for free occasionally. That's essentially all you need to think about it. It's got crossbow emplacements. It's got a large line of sight, and it gives you batches of crossbowmen. That's it. It's a really good landmark. In fact, what's interesting is that the Macedonians have really good landmarks. I feel like their landmarks are arguably the best landmarks in the new expansion for these new civilizations. They are really good, and all of them are competitive choices, right? Like, if we think about Age 2, obviously, when it comes to the power of the Hippodrome, that's been something that has been well established for a long time here. Now, of course, it's quite a bit different in the sense that you don't get your healing ability the same as you do with the Byzantines. The Grand Winery is, of course, different, arguably even better than the Byzantine variant. I don't know if the Byzantine variant is the right word to use for the Byzantines than the OG Byzantines. Let's go with that. Anyway, we got the age up now coming through, and you can see here it takes about 2 minutes for these crossbows to come through. Now, of course, that's going to be affected by things like your blacksmith upgrades. So if we check in here with our Varangian arsenal, so if you do pick up your military academy, it is going to reduce the time that it takes for these crossbows to train. So if you go into this landmark, it probably makes a bit more sense to actually pick this up or prioritize picking this up sooner rather than later, because you're going to get dividends on that, right? Like if you think, okay, you're spending 350 resources, yeah, but you're spending 350 resources and you're going to be getting those 3 crossbows 30 seconds faster. And then the next set is a minute faster. And so you're always going to be, slightly higher in tempo, and it could make the difference between life or death. Anyway, next age up, now going to be coming through in the north of the map. It is Muscovia Sack. Muscovia Sack is the Golden Horde age up that gives you 200 wood per minute. Very nice. However, every time you make a unit, a heavy unit, it gives them 2 ranged armor, but it costs 2 wood per minute. So if you've got 50 units that are using that heavy shield, then unfortunately your wood per minute goes down from 200 down to 100. So it's a really cool system, and the great thing about it is you're always going to be getting something from it. Either you're getting wood per minute from it, guaranteed, or you're getting a shield. So there's always going to be really good value in this age up. I do like it a lot. Alternatively, you can go for relic uvus, but I do think this is something that's probably a little bit better in the case where you're looking to age up before your opponent, because if you're prioritizing relics, then it can make sense to leverage that even further. Whereas here in this situation, I mean, arguably his opponent didn't go into the Grand Winery, so his tempos are not going to be that high looking to pick up relics. But he's still going to be up before his opponent, so there's going to be less focus on those relics for GUA here in this game. Let's switch it over to income per minute, get an idea on where these guys are at, and have a look at this. 760 per minute when it comes to the silver. That is an incredible amount of silver that's coming through right here. Why is it so much? I guess he's just got a lot of villagers that are mining at the moment, so naturally that's going to be giving you a lot of silver. Keep in mind, you get 40% of the resources that you drop off at a mining camp back as silver. So it works out to be a huge amount of resources that are being generated. I guess technically you could say for free, but I mean, if we say for free, it's intellectually dishonest, because every civilization has its bonuses, every civilization has its negatives, and that I guess that's just one of the bonuses that it gets. So, does the English get a free 45% extra food. Well, it's not really free, and it's not really 45%, but you get the idea, right? Anyway, let's move on. Let's move forward, because the age up about to come through on the other side of the map. GUA now, and we see the building carts also come out of this one. This continues back to our age 2 age up, which allows you to essentially always have this. And one of the great things about this is you can use it to go immediately into a prayer tent, and that's exactly what GUA looks like he is doing right here. We can see the blueprint down behind the town center and goes into the prayer tent immediately. And look how fast it comes up as well. If you're interested in contesting relics, you can definitely do it this way. That is for sure. I tell you what, it would be very cool to see someone go for the early game. Actually, no, that doesn't make sense. Early game building carts into the relic Uvus. That's what I was thinking. Okay, we got units out here. GUA finally adding in archers into his composition, looking for a little bit of that 1-1-1 that he is so famously known for. Meanwhile, behind the scenes, look at the Radari just throwing their axes. They don't want to have anything to do with those spearmen on the front, and so they throw their axes and say, no, we'll be fine. We'll be okay. Now, there's been quite a few villages that have gone down here. We can see that it is, well, it's not looking pretty here. But fortunately, in the end, the keep does get up. But at what cost? Busanuli has lost a lot of villagers in this fight. Down 9 villagers now against his opponent, GUA. He is looking healthy. He's looking good. He's up 11 villagers in this game. We're right on board with him now as he begins to add in more of the stockyards. Of course, he knows exactly what he's doing when it comes to base building. Some beautiful positioning back here. He's going to put the fortified outpost down. Interesting spot. Technically, I don't know if you gain anything from doing this. I don't think you do. Yeah, I was going to say, I think you're just better off putting it right here in smack bang right there on that position. But you don't even need to put it down now, because you're not going to be researching the edict. And I'm sure there's people that are wondering, what the edict? What the hell is this all about? The Golden Tent has got access to an edict that it can send out periodically. Every couple of seconds if it likes, and that will send a message to all of these fortified outposts that, hey, we want you to do something. We want you to provide a buff to something somewhere, and it sends it to every single one. So if you've got a stockyard, or sorry, if you've got a fortified outpost on the front line, it will get the edict, and if you've got one on the back line, it will get the same edict as well. And that might be a little bit troublesome, because if you're trying to buff up your stockyards and the front line is getting buffed up, well, now you've got to make an interesting decision. Do I buff up my front line, or do I buff up my back line? And it's mutually exclusive. You can only pick one at a time. Now, of course, I think many people would say, well, we'd probably just go between them. And now we can see GUA, he's doing it already. So let's talk about this. Basically, this turns your farms to English farms, or your food gatherers to English food gatherers. Each one of these villages now gathers up a lot of food. But on top of that, it's also gathering gold. So the edict should come out. He actually hasn't changed it over. He's researched it, but hasn't moved it over. So the way it works is it provides, each one of these villages will provide you, there we go now, as the edict flies out, it will provide 10 gold per minute for each one of these villages. So if we look here, that's 32. So that's 320 gold that's now coming through. We've got English in the feudal age, or rather in the castle age. Technically, you can get that in the dark age, but we'll play right now for that castle age instead. So, unfortunately, GUA messed up the positioning here. GUA, you absolutely ruined me, GUA. I will just say that right now. As a person who's got obsessive-compulsive disorder, this kills me. This kills me so much, dude. I'm the kind of guy, I would have deleted these stockyards and moved them over. I don't care if it's a ranked game. I got it wrong, I gotta fix it. I can't believe you can live with yourself when you're doing this kind of stuff, GUA. But I'll allow it for now, because you're GUA, and we love you. And, well, we're excited to see what you're cooking up today. Let's check in on the other side. How's Bus and Lily doing? Look, he's facing off against that new English economy, that castle age English economy. The other thing to note, I will just say this as well. GUA's got access to an upgrade in his GUR. So this one right here, overgrazing. You'll notice that it's a 2 out of 2 upgrade, which means you don't actually get access to a 3rd upgrade. So there's no Imperial age upgrade for grazing, so for gathering up sheep here. So this is peak economy. Once he gets this upgrade, this is literally peak economy for the Golden Horde. And that's impressive, because we're only 19 minutes into this game and he is absolutely cooking. And the other thing to note is you've got a very dense base when you do this. Golden Horde economy has the ability to stay in a very small area, because each one of these villages, the equivalent of 4 villages on 4 farms, is taking up significantly less space. It takes up the same space that a barracks would take up, whereas your 4 farms would take up the same space that a town center normally takes up. So it means that you can have a lot denser bases, means that your villages are going to be a lot closer to the town center or to protection, and it's just a better thing for you. All right, well, let's check in on the armies and see how they're doing. We've talked a lot about Golden Horde and their amazing economy. Now let's talk about their army, because at the moment we've got a Wallalol attempt over here on the east side of the map. Repelled for the moment. Radari falling back. He realizes, hey, there's units nearby. He was trying to pick up that last relic. We can see that it's not actually the last relic. There's a 3-1 split at the moment. GUA did manage to grab 3 out of the 5 so far. Last one safely in the back of the base here for Bus and Lily, but we've got more of the Atger doctors. Atgermiters. There we go. Atgermiters. It's going to take me a while to get their names, but I will get them, I promise you, eventually. All right. Excuse me, I'm just blowing my nose. I'm going to take a quick drink of water as well. We're 20 minutes into this game. By the way, drink of the day, water. Standing up at the standing desk. A little bit hot. So for anyone who missed it earlier in the week, I was a bit sick. I had gastro. And I felt really good for a day, and now I'm feeling down again. So I'm casting this. I'm feeling, I will say, I feel like I've got a bit of a fever going at the moment. So look, if we start to get, if things go off the rails, you know why it is. It's not because we're talking about aliens, which, by the way, we haven't been talking much about lately. Can we talk about aliens yet? Are you guys ready for it or not? Or do I have to give it a couple more years? Have we got to let it cook for a little bit more, and then we'll get back to it? All right, we'll let it cook. Other side of the map, Radari, they don't care about walls. They just fire straight over the top of them. Villagers getting eaten alive up here. Able to take them out. Now 9 villagers going down. Unfortunately, to the south side, we do see the boiling oil for this keep is going to allow Bus and Lily to defend easily. He does lose a fair few villagers. We hear them going down, but in the end, it looks like he's going to be okay. actually, that's not villagers. That's spearmen that are dying. I thought that sound was the sound of villagers dying. It could also be Karash dying. I will say that. Crossbow numbers up towards the west looking good. GUA in a very strong position right now. He is all over this map, and we can see here the fortified outpost. What edict is he running? It's the Stockyard Edict. Now, there's another really good edict that would have been great in that situation, and that edict is the Golden Tent, the Defensive Aura Edict, which gives you 10% extra health on your units, which might not seem like a lot, but it adds up. It adds up once you start talking about your upgrades and your armor. It can definitely make a big difference. Bill's being chased away. GUA having a day, that is for sure. Military number in the favor of GUA as well. Let's ride on board with Bus and Lily, see what he sees, get an idea, get a bit of a feel on what he's doing. Oh my god, he's full maxing out his cavalry. Increases the armor of all cavalry by 1 and health by 5%. Dude, I already see what he's doing for Imperial Age. He's going to go into the Cataphract landmark. I already know. Oh, is he prepping? Oh, is he prepping? Oh, dude, he's doing it. Oh, I love it. He's going, okay, so what's he doing? He's prepping for Imp, and he wants to go Imp ASAP. He wants to go to the Palatine School. He's going to spam elite Cataphracts that are produced for silver. You can see he's got 4,000 in the bank right now, which is insane. Oh, this has got to be so... Dude, I feel sorry for GUA. I feel... This is actually like... Bus and Lily is about to have that... I'm trying to think of... What's it called? You know, You've just activated my trap card. You put all of the 5 cards together, and you become... Dude, see, this is the trouble. I can't remember. Hold on, I'm pausing the video. Exodia, I googled it. I couldn't dare wait, and yeah, dude, it's happening. He's doing the Exodia strategy. Okay, this is sick. I never actually thought about this as a potential strategy, that you just beeline to this specific landmark and then just click the button and win the game. But I think that's what he's going to try and do here. So the principle behind this is quite simple. So Cataphracts have a lot of health. And so what works well with health? Is it damage? Yeah, it can work well, but armor works especially well. And so by doing this, what he's got is essentially is it +5? Is that what he's sitting at? He's sitting at 5 out of 6? No, he must be sitting at 4 out of 6. Anyway, we're going to click this landmark, and you're about to see how many Cataphracts he's got in queue. Yeah, and these things train really quickly. These are 20 seconds for 3 Cataphracts. A normal Cataphract is taking like, what, 40 seconds? This is 20 seconds for 3. So this is the equivalent of like 6 stables. And keep in mind, you don't need to upgrade these. These don't need to be like elite upgraded. They are already shadow teched up to elite status. And now he's got 500 health. And he's got 9 armor on the... Oh, this is so beautiful. This is actually sick. Bus and Lily, you may now refer to this man as the chef. I'm calling it right now. We've had the kid, aka Voldemar. Now we've got the chef. Ladies and gentlemen, I introduce to you Bus and Lily, and I suspect he may be Italian. Bus and Lily has been absolutely bussing, you bussa left and then you bussa right. Sorry, he's been bussing a left to the Cataphracts. Any takers? That's from my brother. My brother's like 10 years younger than me, and that's a meme that he introduced to me. So I had no idea about that meme before he introduced it to me. So I don't know if it's a well-known meme. There's probably going to be one guy in the chat who's like 6 years old and is like, yeah, check this out. My brother's not 6, by the way. But look, sorry, buddy, but you got the brain. No, I'm just kidding. All right, so big mistake, I would say. This is actually, the Exodia strategy was so close. What's the mistake? The mistake is he spent 3,000 silver. Where is it? It's over here. 3,000 silver on this bloody upgrade. Can we find the arsenal that's doing it? I don't know if we can. It's somewhere. It's on the front line? I don't know. It's an expensive upgrade. It's 3,000 silver that he's putting into this. And this is the equivalent of 4 sets of cataphracts. 12 cataphracts. So, like, if we look at how many cataphracts he's got 9, which is great. But, bro, you could literally have 21 cataphracts. And, like, sure, that extra armor is great. But this is one of those situations where you need to ask the question, is it worth? At what point does it become not worth anymore to invest into this? And there are, like, certain stages of the game. And I think, like, this is one of those things where it will still take quite a while for us to work out those exact numbers. Because if we look here, right, like, we can just get +1 damage. Like, this is, easily throw this one on the pile. We'll take this. We'll probably take +2, probably even take +3. But 3,000 silver at this stage of the game, when you've just hit Imp, when you could be spamming out cataphracts and going for the absolute Exodia strategy, it pains me. It pains me. It breaks my heart because you, Busanlili, Chef Busanlili, you were so close, but as they say over on Kitchen Confidential, see you tomorrow, chef. I've been watching on Reddit. I am a Redditor. Yep, you got me. I'm literally a mod on Reddit, so they've been doing this cutting chives until Kitchen Confidential says they're perfect. It's been quite funny following along with that. Anyway, Radari now going to be moving up. Now, one of the cool things about the Radari is you can come up here with lightning speed, pull out your axes, throw them down. Look at the damage that he's done to the bombard. Fortunately, GUA was paying attention, very easily able to bring that back, but, you know, it really makes you think. Radari kind of good. Radari kind of strong. Oh, by the way, we've got runestones as well, which is going to be increasing even more stats that we've got for our Varangian unit. So technically, the Cataphracts of Varangian unit, I would say probably... Oh, the Hippodrome Horseman increases the damage. Oh my god, can we get the Hippodrome... Oh, that Radari only increases the movement speed of... Yeah, no, that's an elite Radari. Where is it? Is it this one? Yeah. Increases the movement speed of nearby infantry. So it's just a slight damage buff. But I mean, I say slight damage, but it all makes a difference. That's the other thing to note. Like, every little bit counts when it comes to these games. Okay, 27 minutes through. The Cataphract number is building up. He's at 18 Cataphracts right now. Yeah, I really think, like, a sort of, not a timing, yeah, I guess like a timing attack. I mean, that's a lot of units, so that's the other thing. GUA with 30 spears, 26 crossbows, like that's a lot. He's also got the militia out as well, the Rus militia, or sorry, the Rus tributes as well. Like, there's a lot of stuff going here for GUA. Wilson Lily's not going to have an easy time taking this out, so who knows? Maybe he was making the right decision in going into that early armor. I'm curious what you think, though. Did he make the right decision in going into that 5th level of armor just yet? I would have just gone into like 2 or 3 levels of the attack. I don't think you need to go into Rompia because it doesn't affect you. It only affects your Radari. But yeah, like the other thing to remember is like Cataphracts, you forget how tanky these units are. Like, don't think of them as knights. Think of these as like super knights. And so you see these forces and you're like, oh, that's kind of scary. He's got 30 spears. It's like, bro, you have 24 Cataphracts. Springles out the wazoo. You're going to be okay. And he looks to try and take it. Ladies and gentlemen, we got ourselves a bit of a fight happening around the 25th minute mark in this game. Huge amounts of Cataphracts looking to try and find their way through on the front line. You can see just how effective they are. The charge comes through onto the back. He says, we don't need to worry about getting body blocked. We can walk straight through. Cataphracts having a field day. GUA trying to hold on. Elite upgrades have come through, and he's doing a wonderful job of managing this at the moment. The question I want to really raise is, how much difference would have 12 Cataphracts really made? And maybe if we'd gone a little bit earlier, maybe not that much. GUA impressively holds. I'm shocked. I'm genuinely shocked. How did he do it? He is GUA. We don't ask the man how he does his magic. Stockyard Edict is still being used, by the way. Didn't even bother. The Giga Chat didn't even bother to switch it over to the Defensive Aura Edict. He just said, no, we're fine. We don't need the 10% health. I know we spent 20,000 resources on our units for this one fight that's going to take 20 seconds, but the gold's more important, and I respect that. I'm a man who knows when to respect, and that's one of those times. Let's check back in on the economy, though, see how he's doing. How many stockyards are we up to? Let's have a look and see. He's got 11, so we see 8 of them here. So he's started to expand up towards the back as well. Quite a bit of food economy. Look here, 44 vils on food at the moment. And that will continue to grow all game, because much like the English, we can very much look to keep a huge portion of our villages on food. Is there a unit that we can really spam that just allows us to do that, that's got that ratio? Because obviously, like, men-at-arms is an example of one. Actually, men-at-arms would be quite good because you do have the reinforcements. You could do Keshiks, but Keshik's pretty gold-heavy, so you definitely have to mix. I think you'd probably want to be doing horsemen together with men-at-arms. Is there any ranged unit that you can mix in? GUA's got archery rangers, doesn't he? Oh, Kipchak. The Kipchak. The Kipchak. The Kipchak! How haven't we seen Kipchaks yet? Where are the Kipchaks at? Hand cannoneers are being mixed in, though. We can start to see numbers are building here for GUA. 16 hand cannoneers up. Double the military number of his opponent. Now, keep in mind, that number might look promising, but at the end of the day, the army value kind of close. 13k versus 8.5. Not really. Still pretty bad. But these are a lot more heavy units. So, Elite Cataphract. I like that it says olive oil. It said olive oil. Did you see that? Oh, why does it say olive oil? What have you done? Why is it saying olive oil? Imagine if all of the... You have revealed your secrets to me, devs. This is no Macedonian civilization. This is the Byzantines. Ah! Okay, now we're okay. We're okay. All right. Ah! Okay, so when we view from GUA's perspective, Bus and Lily, that's when it shows up as olive oil instead. Whereas we have to click off the building and then we can re-click and then it will show it as silver. So little things like that. Don't worry, they'll get fixed. It's a tiny little bug. Who am I kidding? This is unplayable. This is absolutely unplayable. Somebody do something. Message the devs if you haven't already. Leave a negative review on... I'm just kidding. Don't do that. Please don't do that. Please don't leave a negative review on Steam. Yes, please don't. Anyway. Numbers starting to build up once again for Bus and Lily here. How does he look to play this game out? I think Springald's is a smart choice. Springald's particularly effective against those melee infantry units. So obviously, you know there's going to be a lot of spears. You're going to be able to get your cataphracts on the back line as well. That's the other thing to note. So I think maybe going into a horseman here could also be pretty decent. So like a mix of horsemen, cataphracts, and springalds could be very nice. Let's see if he opts into that direction. No, he's just sticking with Radari for the moment. Has he picked up the upgrades for those horsemen just yet? Yeah, hasn't even got the upgrades for the horsemen yet. So unlikely, but I think the horsemen could be very nice just to complement against the hand cannoneers, because obviously the hand cannoneers excel against high health units. They have got high damage, so it allows them to A, cut through armor, and B, cut through those big health pools. When you focus down a unit with hand cannoneers, it dies. There's no question about it. Anything is dead. And so it very much just becomes a case of making sure you've got overwhelming numbers and overwhelming ability to kill those units. On top of that, you've already got quite a few upgrades that are going to be supporting you with regard to that switch into horsemen. So I think that's definitely the right call here for the moment. I'd love to see him start moving into more upgrades as well, because keep in mind, this costs 4,000 silver. This is 250. Like, this is 450. This is 200. Like, just get them. Even though, yeah, sure, you could be spending it on something else. Like, they're just so cheap. It just makes sense. And now, with all of the Byzantine fire, it looks very hurty, but I assure you it really doesn't do that much damage. Oh, did you see that? The way the fire lines up. Watch that in slow-mo. Someone play that back right now. Have a look in slow motion. Exactly how that looks. The fire literally hits the first target and just goes boom, 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 boom. It's looking like... Oh, gosh. That plane crash. Did you guys see that plane crash that recently happened? Oh, my lord, dude. It looked like it was something out of a movie, wasn't it? And that's what it kind of looked like here. Like, just the flames just boom, 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 boom. Obviously not a lot worse than... or a lot worse in IRL than this. But, yeah, anyway. Yeah, that was some Michael Bay shit, though. That is for sure. That was crazy, dude. Did you see, like, the reaction? There's this camera footage of a guy in a car park. I think he's sitting in the truck waiting to go on his delivery route or something like that. And bro literally witnesses it in front of him. Like, it's not even in 4K. It's literally IRL, and he's watching this happen. How crazy, man. How crazy to think that would happen. Like, you wouldn't know what to believe. Like, dude, like, I had a car crash the other day, right? I was turning left, which in Australia you can do, and someone crashed into me. So I was in the right. Don't worry. We settled it. But, like, your brain just kind of fizzles out, because I didn't realize until I'd been hit that she was coming. She was coming quick. She was doing like 30 miles an hour, and I'm like turning into this road, and she's like trying to just go straight into the road, but she had to give way to me. But anyway, And your brain is just like, what? Trying to process what happened. And I reckon that guy, he just, like, what? Oh man. Anyway, let's not talk about it. Let's talk about other things. Let's talk about our game that we got right here, because Bussa Lily, he's trying to find a way back through, and I think the Springwoods may actually be the way. The Byzantine fire could be the story of this game. We did see earlier on there was the potential for a little bit of Exodia. However, that potential unfortunately was quickly squashed. Now he is spending quite a fair bit of his silver on these Cataphracts. Let's actually check in with the economy back here of the Macedonians and check in how exactly is he, or how much is he producing? So, this one back here, have you really, I'm looking at it like, why have you not received any silver? Like, surely you've received silver. Bro's just not gathered any silver yet. This is about to be the first drop. There you go. Okay, so we're not going to worry about this mining camp right here. Mining camp up towards the main town center, though, if we can find it. Here we go. 1,600, so 200 a minute. And then this one's 50 a minute. And then he's going to have one over here. This is at 265 per minute. He hasn't rebuilt over here because he was over here, wasn't he? Yeah, he was doing, you can, silver deposit. Oh, silver deposit. So he wants to rebuild on this silver deposit. That's so sick. I never even realized I have a silver deposit right here. So he's got that. He's also got over towards, there's somewhere over here. Here we go. Another one. 120, 186. Like, bro is absolutely cooking. Chef Bussa and Lily, sorry. We got to get that right. Springwoods, kind of fire. Not going to lie. All right. Well, in this game, the tables appear to have turned. Bussa and Lily with quite a strong composition here. Do we see horsemen coming out? Not yet. Still just with that Radari together with that Cataphract combo. I mean, it does kind of make sense to avoid the horsemen when you get closer to that maximum population and you've got like that attrition that's, or like once you get to the maximum population and you're pushing out, then yeah, it doesn't really make sense to go horseman. Because like at the end of the day, if you could choose between one horseman and one Cataphract, what are you going to choose? You're going to choose the Cataphract. But once you start getting into those attrition fights where it's like, okay, the enemy's at my doorstep, there's lots of hand cannoneers that are attacking me, what do? I build horsemen. At least that's my thinking. Now, we do have the Hippodrome and Radari about to come out. This is going to increase the movement speed of nearby units. We've also got more upgrades on the other side, increased supplies coming through for GUA, as well as veteran horsemen, just as we were talking. We've also got a little bit of extra health for our siege units coming through, iron fittings. Very fitting. Yeah, still quite a few upgrades that are missing out. I'd love to see Military Academy at the very least. Just think of the value we would have got from Military Academy had we picked it up at, you know, the 12, 13, 14 minute mark. Would be a completely different ballgame. Not really. It'd be pretty much the same. I like the attention to detail here. Just the little shields left out the front. Is it? I don't want to stick my foot in it, but is it Genoese? There's something going on here. Varangian shields? I don't know. Something. They're cool looking shields. Let's just say that. I like these shields. You can't at me for that. Hey man, those shields are shit. All right, fair point. You got me. All right, more Cataphracts beginning to move out. He's up to 22 at the moment. I like the fact that it's got the 3 Cataphracts there in the icon as well. It's not like a single Cataphract. So you know these are different from the OG Cataphracts. If he was to convert Byzantine Cataphracts, they would show up on the UI as different Cataphracts. But now, beginning to push towards GUA's base. Now, keep in mind, GUA's got 2 landmarks. That's it. He doesn't have more, doesn't have less. He can't move this golden 10. Now, it's got 20,000 health, so he's going to be okay. But still, you can't move it. 7,000 health on the town center. It is a lot of health, but he can get through it. He's got the bombards and now starting to set up with the keep on the front line. Mining camp being thrown down. Varangian arsenal being thrown down as well. He is prepared. He is looking to snipe away any of these resources that he can. I would love to see him. Where was he? He was somewhere over here. Yes. With the silver deposits. It's something that you Macedonian mains will have to keep an eye out for. That is for sure. Bro, I tell you what. I love the idea, not necessarily of fast Imperial. I don't think you can go fast Imperial into Palatine School because it's very much about not necessarily how fast you get there, but about how much income you have, how much silver you've got when you get there. Because if you can just shit out like 30 elite Cataphracts, bro, ain't no way your opponent's holding that. Now, beginning to move forward, Springwoods. There's so many of them. Springwoods starting to look good. I tell you what, Macedonian. We were talking about Macedonian Dark Age in the previous video. Now we're going to have to talk about Macedonian Imperial Age because this civilization is looking really, really good. Oh my god, how good does that look? Oh god, when the fire just hits all of those units at the same time, it's so beautiful. Cataphract's going to try and defend. Springwoods just firing through, hitting all of that backline. Bombard's looking to tee off towards it as well. Rust Tribute's going to be running in from the edge. The crossbowmen going to help. I don't even think these are elite crossbowmen, despite the fact we're getting them for free. And GUA doing a wonderful job holding once again with the infantry and cav composition. The only siege he needs are the bombards for the buildings, and that is it. He manages to make it through another day, surviving once again. The poor GUA. He's a little cockroach. You can't get rid of him when it comes to these battles. And now, looking to take out that backline. All of these Springald's going to get taken out. And my question is, what's the economy looking like for Busan Lily? He's on 113 vills, which is an absolutely wonderful amount of villages. He has been on 2TC for quite some time. I don't think we've really talked about that much. Compared to his opponent, GUA, who's on 91 vills and only been on the 1TC. He's lost a fair bit of villages as well throughout this game. Keep now going to be coming up. Cannon emplacement now online. He should be looking to fire down over here. That is exactly where you want to be hitting. But unfortunately, I think this keep is going to be going down. The two bombards together with the three mean that it's very unlikely to survive that much damage. And indeed, we are correct as these villagers look to escape to the country. More units starting to come through. Cataphracts in queue. He's got 3 more sets of Cataphracts in queue. Another one's just come out. But I think after watching this, you can definitely see, okay, it looks like it's not overpowered, right? Like, it looks relatively balanced. Though, to be fair, he doesn't have blade inlaying. He doesn't have any of these upgrades that he should be getting. These are just like such basic upgrades, and it might not seem like much, okay? Like, yeah, I'm already doing 32 damage. Like, it's not that meaningful. But the difference between, say, 32 damage and, say, 38 damage, which you absolutely can get if you look to utilize the Hippodrome. So if we go, like, the Hippodrome Horseman together with, like, 4 upgrades, like, bro, you're doing so much damage. So, yeah, and obviously that goes over to your Radari as well, that bonus damage. So I think definitely an oversight here from Busan Lily. But I'm confident when the chef returns tomorrow, he will come up with something, if not more delicious than what we have seen today. The question's going to be about whether or not it pleases the judges. And whether or not, oh my lord, in every direction, dude. Look at the way, I love the way the fire spreads when it hits a unit really close to the Springald, and it just goes through, and there's like units behind, and it's just like fire, 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 fire everywhere. Fortunately, the fire doesn't actually do that much damage. Imagine if they turned these numbers up, dude. Then they totally could. There must have been a point in balance testing where these numbers were way too high, and like units were just dying, not instantly, but like they were dying a lot, and they had to tweak that bad boy down. You know for sure that existed. Oh man. There's a part of me that also thinks this civilization would be very good in the Crucible just because of this bonus. The Springald bonus is very, very nice for dealing with those units in an AoE. You just need to find a way to keep the Springalds alive because you can't make walls. So it's like, how do I keep them alive? I guess maybe Cataphracts. Cataphracts is a thing. That's a cool trick. More Springalds now coming through. Villagers being brought forward. 116. He's going to try and commit. Vill's now onto the backside, looking to try and take out these bombards. We'll be able to find a connection. He's got plenty of them in here as well. How many are we talking? Another 13. He's going to sacrifice them all. I think after a big sacrifice like that, it's almost tempting to throw down a 3rd TC. It can just make such a big difference to keeping the longevity of those villagers alive. Sacred Site finally taken at the 42-minute mark in this game. Quite deep into this game for the Sacred Site to be taken, but hey, we got there in the end. Actually, did it just get neutralized? Maybe it just got neutralized. Maybe. Anyway. And now, towards the middle, GUA. I'll tell you what, this has been such a back and forth game. If you had to pick a winner at this stage, who do you go with? I feel like you probably have to go with GUA. The fact that he just took out so many villagers right there is incredible. Oh, he's going for the charge. He's going for the charge. The glorious charge. Everybody get close. Everyone get close. What are you doing? Get back here. Guys. Oh, he's gonna pop it now. I mean, at least the siege get the bonus. 1.3. Not terrible, not terrible. He's really gonna try and push it. This could be it right here. But the Springald's on the defensive, doing absolute work, doing the Lord's work right here. So much fire. You want to bring them up. Yeah, you want a Springald kiss with these bad boys. You want to try and hit that front line and try and get those arrows all the way through. Cavalry trying its best to hold the 4. Managing to do it for the moment. And now more and more units continue to rally in for GUA, but he's got a little bit of trouble back home. Where are those reinforcements? He doesn't have a whole lot of units or a whole lot of resources in the tank. 103 population versus 140, 150 from Busan Lily. Oh, no. That's not good. That's not good. 44 minutes into this game. Bro, how back and forth is this? Okay, if you had to make a call, who would win right now? Who would you say? I would say Busan Lily. Oh, man. Okay, right now, Polymarket has not closed. You know what? I shouldn't mention Polymarket. I don't like gambling. But, yeah, anyway. Right now, the stakes have closed. No, they haven't closed. They're open. It's still like 50-50. No one knows who's going to win this game at this stage. It could really go any way. My one fear right now is that GUA's economy is not particularly strong. And I don't know what the economy is like for the Golden Horde in the late game. I do like the fact that they get this infinite gold and it's been just kicking for a while, but GUA hasn't really moved above 44 vils on food for a long time. And like, if he had an extra 50 vils right now, I would totally be all about that, but he hasn't been. No second TC, no villager, like crazy amounts of villagers. And obviously like the more vils that you've got on food, the more villagers that you've got generating gold as well. And just overall means more units that you can access, but Finally, we see some horsemen coming through with their +5 armor. God, that's a ridiculous amount of armor, isn't it? And he's looking to move into, what is he going into? Ranged attack. Does the ranged attack affect the throwing axe? Surely it doesn't, because you're throwing an axe, right? Like it's a throwing axeman sort of thing. It would have to be a melee attack that, like, you know, if you get hit with an axe, it's very different from getting hit with a bolt. Surely that upgrade would only apply to the throwing axe. Like the cavalry upgrade. Actually, oh, no, never mind. That's ranged units specifically. No, it's not. It's range damage of all arrows and bolts. Get it together, mate. Look at this, look at this, look at this. How stupid is this? The Springled sitting in here, untouchable. GUA trying to chip away at it. He knows exactly what he needs to do. The Bombard's 100% the correct play here. He's going to have to go through the fire and the flames, though, to get there. He's a little bit far ahead of his spears. GUA, be careful, my friend. Horsemen now running in together with the Rodari. Cataphracts as well. Plenty of cavalry here. He's found this beautiful composition for the Macedonians and now firing off towards the front. You want to bring them up even closer. There we go. He moves them up, micros them further. That way you're able to hit the front line and get the double attack onto the back. Keep in mind, you don't do friendly damage to your own unit, so let the fire and let the flames spread, and GUA in trouble. GUA in big trouble right here. Badu Khan coming out. He's going to be taken out very quickly, as we can see number of units working him down. Khairusafont is here as well. GUA, where are the reinforcements? The reinforcements almost non-existent right now for GUA. He's down bad. I think this might be it. Ladies and gentlemen, I think this could be it. We could see GG any minute. I've said that before. Maybe he manages to swing it back from here. How do you manage to swing it back from here if you're GUA? Genuinely. Okay, let's think about it. We're right on board with GUA. How do you win this? Maybe you try and do like a landmark snipe? A big Wallalol? That could be a way. You could bait a Wallalol as well. Like put this guy in a ram and then bait him out. But then the cavalry, I mean, you can't really bait the cavalry. That's the other thing. They're too quick. By the time they see, like, the moment the Wallalol goes off, they just move immediately. Like, that's not going to work. Huh. I don't know how GUA wins from here. He's down 70 population in this game. I think your only real Hail Mary is to, like, go for a landmark snipe. But even then, your enemy's making cavalry. So they're just going to run back and kill you. So if you take villagers or if you take scouts or anything like that, it's just going to be non-existent. I don't know how he comes back. I think he's got to try and lift, though, that's for sure. He's got all of his upgrades on his spears. Bulls and Lily with just so many units in queue as well. And that's going to start stacking up now. He's at 113 vils, which is absolutely where he wants to be at this stage. We're right on board with him now as he begins to move out over towards the west of the map. He's got good control here. And of course, mining camp now being established on the gold vein over here. Just going to further increase that silver. 2,000 silver a minute. 48 minutes into this game, the number only rises. Keep in mind, oh, he's rebuilt them. He's rebuilt them. I love it. I love that he worked out that he could rebuild them. He's gone, and like, look at this. This is insane. Look at the amount that he's up. You're talking 2,000, 4,000, 5,000, 6,000, 7,000. 7,000 resources off 113 vils. That's a lot. Compared to GUA right now, he's sitting on 4.7k. Bro, he's on a huge resource difference, despite the fact that they're relatively close here when it comes to that economy. GUA now back behind here, losing out on some more villagers. 48 minutes into this game. He needs right now to lift. I feel like when it comes to GUA, the biggest issue, or the biggest error, was not building that second town center. At any point between like the 15-minute and the 30-minute mark, he could have added in a second TC, and I feel like it would have made a world of difference. But unfortunately, we didn't see that. GUA now going to try and regroup towards the north. He's been adding in more and more military. But he doesn't have a whole lot of production left. Villagers starting to be taken out. Wilson Lily knows he can go for the throat. Town center going to be going down shortly. GUA trying to attract him to the back. Say, hey, come on, come on, come on. I'm over here. Come and get me, come and get me. GUA now going to be moving across over from the east and the west. Comes behind, finds one Springled, looks for a second one. The defense of GUA. Through the fire and the flames, he goes. Keshik's find a connection. Rather, I think those are horsemen. Horsemen find a connection. Springled's underneath, able to get really good spread on all of these infantry units, and you can see, oh my god, look at that. That is just absolutely perfect. Hits the front, hits the back. And now the Springled number has really fallen, but at the end of the day, GUA is struggling. The main town center has gone down, and keep in mind, remember before we were talking about all those reinforcements, the number of units that Bus and Lily had in queue? Well, guess where they are right now? They're making their way across the map as they slowly reinforce this position. Rallying in one by one across the map. He's at 184 population. He's got more than 15,000, 20,000 resources in the bank. This is it. That's it, folks. The markets have officially closed. GUA has resigned. Ladies and gentlemen, we leave it there. Make sure you go check out these creators. I don't know if Bus and Lily streamed, but I'll have a chat to the chef and see if I can find out. Anyway, make sure you don't forget about Outback Octagon. That's coming up as well, November 19, and we'll catch you in the next one. Goodbye.